Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is my review for Finding Carter, Season 1, Episode 7, Throw Momma from the Train. And this episode was absolutely amazing. I, once again, love this episode. Just wow. There are so many things I loved about this episode. And honestly, I loved how, what they did on the show. I mean, we all knew this was going to happen. We all knew from last week's episode, we know that the show was going to get more intense, and based on that preview they showed for last week, yeah, shit's about to go down, like, right here, right now. There's only 5 episodes left, so it's really starting to build up, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what else they're gonna do. So, let's just get this episode, because overall, I love this episode, by far best episode of the season, just loved it. And it's really great that every episode so far has been best episode of the season. I mean, that's a really great thing about this show. It's why I love it so much. Basically, so yeah, let's just get to the episode. Basically, we see Carter, she's lying in bed, toying with her car key, and she looks kind of upset. So she hears a knock on her door, and she hides the key. Now, of course, she, is upset, of course, because she doesn't want to, she knows she has to meet Lori, and she really doesn't, because she's actually connecting with her family, and she doesn't really want to, jinx it. So David comes in and wishes her happy birthday, and he tells her she's exactly 17 years old. She asks what happens now. He says they wait 25 minutes, then wake up Taylor, and, she's very surprised right now. He drags the girls downstairs, and they complain about it being too early, and I thought that was kind of funny. So in the kitchen, their grandparents are there and offer to cook, to cook or open presents, and Taylor's in shock, and they step into the other room to talk. So Taylor says this never happened and says it's usually the worst day of the year because it's the day that she's reminded that Carter was never here. But Carter says she didn't even know this was her birthday, which is a big shock, basically. I thought that was huge, definitely, that we found that out. So, Carter didn't even know this was her birthday, and both girls are very overwhelmed, and Carter tells her she just turned 16 6 months ago, and Taylor asks what day. But then, her grandmother interrupts, and, Grandpa says the last time they celebrated together, they were 3. And I thought it was a cute scene, when they were talking and everything. Carter says she remembers him. I was surprised she remembered this. She remembers him riding around on her shoulders, and, yeah, I thought that was definitely interesting that she remembered that. So they offer the girls a party, and they agree. Grandma hands them Macy's gift cards to buy new dresses for their birthday party. And she tells Carter to buy something new and tells Taylor to buy something slinky. And the girls head out, and Elizabeth's mom, we'll talk about that in a second, but basically the girls head out to go dress shopping, basically. So then what ends up happening is, basically David comes in and says they can pay for their own clothes, and, Elizabeth asks if they really can, and Grandpa offers them, them donuts, and Carter stares at a heart-shaped balloon in the bouquet, and she thinks back, and I really love this next scene. We actually see a flashback of when she was thinking back when it was, her birthday when she was with Lori. There were balloons all over her room, the whole apartment. She said it's her favorite day of the year, and all day she made her, because it was the day she made her a mom. I thought it was really sweet to watch this, because it's like, we got to see Carter, we got to see what Carter, celebrated, how she celebrated her birthday when she was with Lori. I just thought that was really, really good, and that's one of my favorite things about this episode by far. So basically, then what ends up happening is, Elizabeth is making champagne toast, and, Taylor has to bring it back to reality, and basically, she thanks the girls for making her a mother. They all toast, and, Carter excuses herself from the table. She goes to pack some clothes, then hides under the bed, and Taylor knows something is up, because Carter just randomly left the table. Taylor knows that something is up, and she doesn't know what it is. Taylor comes in and sees her stashing it and says that's not a good sign at all, and she pulls it out, and Carter admits she saw her mom, and Taylor says around here she's called the kidnapper. She doesn't want to talk about her, really, and I really liked how much we saw in the scene that Taylor, cared about Carter. I really like that in this next scene. So she's kicking the bag and asks Carter if she's leaving and going back to her, and she asks when and says it better not be today. She asks her to reschedule devastating her family, and Carter says it's not up to her, because it's really not. Lori specifically said, meet me at the train station at the specific time. Meet me at the, airport at this specific time. So, she really has no control over it. But the thing is, I do agree with Taylor that, they really do care about her, and they're here for her. And Taylor says it's all up to her, and Carter says she can't just stay there and be with her. She can't stay there and be with her mom. And Taylor says she could let them wake up tomorrow and relive the nightmare of losing her. And she asks them if she could do that to them, and says if she can, she must really hate them. Carter says there's nothing else she can say. Taylor says to say she's staying, and Taylor says everyone thinks it's going to be, it's great to be a twin, but they wouldn't say that if they had to be their twin. So Carter cries, pulls at her hair in frustration, and basically, I just thought that was really big. So basically, she tells her she has some, Elizabeth says she has some dresses for her, and shows her one she thinks Max will like on her. So she asks how things are with her and Max, and Taylor says it won't matter since Carter will be gone soon. And she asks who else knows, and she says Max, and she says she met Lori where Max works, obviously. She met Lori where Max works, of course, and, basically, what ended up happening there, she found that out. When she found out that Lori's back in town, she wants to know where she is and everything. So Taylor asks if he was texting her, and she says at least Lori didn't kidnap her. Now Carter says she doesn't want her to hate her, and Taylor says stay or she won't, then threatens to tell Elizabeth. She asks, what about Grant? And Carter says she can't think about him. It's incredibly awkward. And Elizabeth asks to see what they've got on. Taylor comes out in a little black dress, and Carter comes out in the exact same dress because years ago, when they were 3, they wore the same dress, at their party. They wore the same dress, and they want to bring that tradition back because that was something that Elizabeth always really liked, and Elizabeth is really happy right now. So Carter looks at Taylor and says it's not a contest, and her sister wins, but Taylor says she wants to have it. Taylor says it's yours last, and then she stops, and Elizabeth asks what, and Taylor says that'll be the last time I'll be this generous with you. And Elizabeth insists they both get the dress and shows them the photo of them when they were 3, wearing the same dress. And Carter looks over at Taylor and asks to be her twin again, and Elizabeth is going on about how she's never been this happy before, and Taylor agrees but does not look happy. Carter asks to hold on to the photo. The girls go to change. Carter sits in the dressing room staring at the photo of them at 3, and we see another flashback of Carter and Lori, which I really like. She thinks back to Lori, asking for a baby picture of her for a, school thing, and Lori says they lost them all when the basement flooded. So Lori says she has one, and it's her only one she has to give back. So we see it's a pic of her alone when she was there, when she was 3, sitting on the steps. So yeah, that was definitely a very interesting flashback. So then it's the birthday party, but Taylor was cut out of it. And Elizabeth calls Carter, who answers, and Elizabeth says she can't remember the last time she was this happy, and Taylor tells her she's a great mom and hugs her. Carter walks out, and Taylor repeats what she says, then walks off. Elizabeth says she doesn't know what got into her, hands back the photo, then asks what other baby pictures she has. She has to see them when they get home, and Elizabeth agrees. And basically, at home, she flips through a pile of photos of herself when Max comes in. And he points out a photo of them as babies and says it's cute. He asks what she decided, and she says she has to go. Max says he thinks she shouldn't, and she says it's not his choice. Max says he knows things she doesn't that would influence her decision, and she tells him not to tell her if it will hurt her, and he says that's not fair. So Max asks Taylor if she thinks Carter should go, and she says no. They both don't want her to go, obviously. And Max says he saw Lori lurking outside their house, and Carter says she asked him not to tell her, but he says he's talking to Taylor. He says he wanted to talk to her, but Lori was there, and Taylor says she's upset because Carter doesn't care what she thinks and it's her birthday. So, again, I really like that Max and Taylor, they kind of rekindle their relationship in this episode. I really like that, definitely. Max asks if she would leave her sister on her birthday, and he says he can't be her friend if she goes with Lori and leaves with Taylor. So obviously, naturally, he's upset about that. So basically, what ends up happening there is that Bird and some others show up and pile coats on Grant. We'll talk about Grant in a second. But basically, we see Crash, and Crash comes in, helps them, pick up coats and everything. He introduces himself to Carter's grandmother, and basically tells him to call her Joan. He thanks Elizabeth for welcoming him, but she doesn't look very welcoming. So Carter goes to stow the coats, and basically Taylor and Carter come down in their identical dresses. David snaps a picture and then has them stand close, and everyone takes a ton of pictures. Then they hug for more photos. Crash pulls Carter aside for a kiss. He asks what she decided, and she says she thinks she's going to go. He tells her he's actually the first person to say to her, okay, that's a good idea. She's surprised that he thinks it's a good idea, though, because basically she says she's leaving tonight, and he says they need to make plans. He wants to come along, and honestly, I thought that was huge, because if you remember last week, he asked her if they should run away together, and, she said they can't and everything, but the thing is, now that he knows that her mom is back in town, and that she wants to leave with her mom, he wants to leave with her, because I think the thing with Crash is he feels Carter is the only good thing he has in his life right now, and he really just doesn't want that to go away, so he wants to run away with her. I mean, I think that's sort of like his escape, sort of. So yeah, I thought that was definitely interesting. Basically, we then see, what we then see is that basically, what do we see after that? We see, Carter, we see Crash in Carter's room, looking through photo albums. She comes in, closes the door, and he asks to have one of her baby pictures, and she asks why. Carter says she has that effect on him. He says she makes him want real things, and he says he wants her and us. She says she wants him to come with them, but she says it's not possible. She says it feels wrong, would be dangerous for him to come. He says dangerous is his favorite word, but he won't be dissuaded. He says it's her decision to go and his decision to come along. And basically he says she's only looking at the bad things, but the good things are that she'll have her mom and him, and ask what else she needs, and she says nothing, and they then end up kissing. So Bird then comes up to Carter, hugs Carter, and she asks who told her she was leaving, and she says Crash told her and Ophi. So Crash did what Carter said exactly not to do, which is don't tell anyone. And he told Bird and Ophi. So Carter's worried because since he told Ophi, she's worried that Ophi's now going to spread rumors about this. So Bird wants her to stay, but says she has to do what she has to do. She offers her a bangle, but Carter says it's too expensive. And Bird says they would have been lifelong friends, and it's her only chance to give her something like this. And they hug, and Ophi says he just got her a keychain Bop It game. I thought that was funny. And they hug too, and Ophi tells her it's been an honor and privilege to be your friend. And Carter tells them to stop talking about her in the past tense and walks away. Obviously, she doesn't want to be talked like it's in the past tense, obviously. And then basically we see that it's then, time to eat the cake and everything, and Joan sets down a cake in front of them. They smile, the girls blow out their candles together and everything, and Carter hugs her sister warmly. Everyone is happy. Carter smiles and laughs. Later, she and Taylor lie on the floor, and we see a very crucial scene here. Taylor asks if she has to go, and Carter says not yet. She says it was a great birthday, even if it was the only time she'll get to celebrate it. Carter asks her favorite part, and she says at Macy's when they had the same dress. Carter asks what she wished for, and she says not to lose her. And basically, Carter shows her a photo of them holding each other as little tiny babies. And then we see a flashback of Lori taking Carter to a hospital nursery to see babies that were born on her birthday. And she tells her she was a fat baby that hated swaddling. And Lori tells her to pick out a baby and to take home. They joke about taking one with funny ears that the parents probably don't like. Then she points out one named Agatha, and it says if they take her and change her name, she can have a whole different life. So Carter points out twins and says she wants them. She says it would be great to be a twin. And then we find out something huge here. We find out that her birthday is actually May 5th, and Taylor gets extremely, now this is when Taylor gets, extremely confused, and, she gets extremely upset as well, because Taylor asks she ever read any articles about her kidnapping on their dad's book, because we find out that May 5th was the day that Carter was kidnapped. So basically, Carter realizes she hasn't been celebrating her birthday for, a lot of years, a bunch of years. She's been celebrating the day she was abducted, and when she finds this out, she's absolutely surprised about this. She is, mind-boggled right now. Mind-boggled, as anyone would be. I mean, think about it. You were kidnapped, you find out you spend your birthday on the day you were kidnapped. I mean, seriously, that's just really big. So, David is in his office writing a chapter of his book called The Birthday Party, and Carter comes in, he closed the laptop. He asks why she's still up, and I'm glad that he told her what's going on. He basically told her that Lori is still out there, and basically, I'm happy that she told him, because it was best for her to tell him, because she had to tell them eventually. They just had to know, they had to know what was going on, and I was glad that she decided to tell him. Basically, she says now she doesn't know what she wants, and she says she can't make this decision. David asks where she was going to meet her, and she hands him a scrap of paper and a burner phone that's good for one call. And basically, Carter says she has to tell her, but she thinks it will be the last time she talks to her. She says she wants to tell her she loves her, and she's afraid she won't tell her she loves her back, but David says he's her dad and he will take care of it. And that's exactly what he decides to do, pretty much. That's what he decides to do. So David comes to the bedroom, talks to Elizabeth, and he says, little do they know that life could be so good, and basically, he tells her Lori is back in town, and looking to take Carter away from them, but Elizabeth made that promise to Carter. She says she's not going to break that promise she made to Carter at all. So basically, she's not going to hunt Lori down, but what they do decide to do is they decide to call Lori. Lori asks if it's Carter. David said it's her father. He says Carter doesn't want to talk to her. She asks him to say goodbye to her. Lori says not to underestimate her and says he did before. He tells her the police are on the way, and she says she can tell him he's lying. And he tells her to stay out of their lives, and Elizabeth tells him he's amazing and kisses him. They pause and kiss again and then fall in bed together. So this has actually made them reconnect a little bit, it seems. It seems like this situation has kind of made them reconnect. I think that's really what's going on there, is that they really reconnect here, because before in the episode, they were having a lot of problems, actually. I mean, Elizabeth and David were having a lot of problems, definitely. Even Joan asked them if she's cheating on David and everything. And, Kyle really wants to see Elizabeth. He really wants that to happen. And there's just a lot going on in terms of, Elizabeth and Kyle. That was definitely very interesting as well. And, so that was pretty much the main plot of the episode. Let's get to the subplot. Basically, a subplot to do with two key things: Taylor, Max, and Grant. We continued that storyline, but also Gabe and Taylor, Max, and Gabe, and also Grant and Regan. Basically, Grant and Regan, they are officially together. We find out that they are officially an item in this episode, pretty much. I was happy that Grant decided to get together with Regan. Grant in this whole episode is feeling very out of place, really. He doesn't feel like, he's part of the celebration. He really doesn't want to be part of the celebration. And because the biggest reason why is because Max isn't playing video games with him. He's busy with Taylor, there's a birthday party being thrown. He really just feels out of place, so he doesn't know what else to do. And basically, when Gabe comes in, Elizabeth greets him, and basically what ends up happening is that Grant is in his closet, Skyping with Regan, and she asks why he's in the closet, and he says he's timing to see how long it will take for someone to notice he's gone. She says he skipped the birthday party to throw himself a pity party, and crashes in, basically that's when the crash scene happened. And after this happened, Gabe checks out the party alone, heads upstairs to Grant's room, sits down to play Grant's video game, and Grant peeks out, and I really thought this was a great scene. Grant peeks him out of the closet. She says he's going to beat his score, and he yells asswipe, and yells at asswipe, and Grant closes the laptop. Gabe asks if he called him an asswipe, but he says it was his girlfriend, and Gabe says not to sound shocked, and he invites Gabe to his closet party, and he agrees. And I thought this was, a sweet scene. We kind of saw them be really good friends. I like this scene overall. He basically, I just thought this was a good scene. I enjoyed that scene overall. I enjoyed it. Gabe hugs Grant, who is visibly upset by what they overheard, because Grant and Gabe find out in this scene. Basically, we see Kyle. He asks what he means, and David asks what he thinks he means. and Elizabeth walks up and David walks off. Kyle grabs her arm to pull her aside and tells her that her husband knows about them. He pulls her into Gabe's room and tells her that David knows they're having an affair, and he recounts the conversation that Elizabeth says, "It's not like he said, I know you're sleeping with my wife," which means that Gabe and Grant both know that Elizabeth is now having an affair with David, and shit is gonna go down now. I don't know what's gonna happen in terms of that, though. I don't know what's going to happen. We did see a promo that shows that Grant's probably going to tell someone about it, because I don't think that's something you can just hide like that. I don't think it is. Definitely, I don't think it's something you can hide like that, and the thing is, I don't think it's going to be something that Grant can just automatically not think about. You know, he can't just not think about it and pretend it never happened, because he knows this is going to happen. And as far as David and Elizabeth goes, I enjoyed their story, you know, in this episode. Definitely David is definitely going to start to be very suspicious. It seems like this whole Lori thing, though, actually has made that relationship stronger, as I said. I feel like that has made this relationship actually better than it was. You know, that it's improved this relationship a little bit. It's made them stronger, better relationship, and that's pretty much what that's done here. But overall, I love this episode. By far the best episode of the season. And just this episode made things so much more intense, because we saw a promo for next week's episode, and holy shit, it looks huge. You know, things like Carter getting arrested. What is going to happen in terms of Carter and Lori? I don't think Carter can ever talk to Lori again after this. I mean, Carter is extremely confused right now, because Lori made her celebrate her birthday when she was kidnapped, on the day she was kidnapped, and obviously Carter's upset about that. I'm thinking what's going to happen is that eventually Carter's going to say to Lori, "I want you out of my life," and I'm actually really looking forward to seeing that, because it seems now that Carter chose, you know, I'm very happy that Carter chose her real family over Lori, because honestly, after finding out what Lori did, I don't trust Lori now. I don't trust her, and I just don't trust Lori. I don't know what's going to happen there, and I really hope that Carter does decide to make a good decision there in terms of what she decides to do. I kind of like that, you know, that kind of convinced her, not to say. Now, to stay. Now, as far as her and Crash go, Crash wants to run away with with Lori. What is Crash going to do in this? I mean, Crash, I don't know what he's going to do. I feel like Crash is going to go somewhere else than Carter, and he might go with Lori. I don't know. I feel like Crash isn't going to be 100% loyal to Carter. I feel like he wants to get out. He wants to go to Lori, and that's what he's going to do. He's going to try to go to Lori, or maybe something's not going to work out. I don't know exactly what he's going to do, but I feel like he's definitely going to do something like that. Definitely, I feel like he's going to do something like that. Taylor and Max, I like that they're together. I like that they officially told Gabe in this episode that they're together. I mean, Gabe was really upset when he found out that Taylor and Max are together, but I really like that. It looks like in the next episode, like, Taylor and Max might have sex, which I'm actually looking forward to. I really, as I said, they're my number one couple on the show. I really like them together. I like seeing the development of Grant and Regan. I think they're cute together. I like them together. It's nice to see Grant, with this girl and everything. It's nice to see them have a connection. I'm glad he did decide to have that talk with her like Carter said he should. I'm glad that happened. And what is he going to do about Elizabeth, knowing that Elizabeth is cheating on David? I don't know how he's going to do it. If he's going to, do this subtly, or if he's going to tell everyone about it. I don't know. I really don't know what Grant's going to do. We know that Grant is quite the trickster. We know that. So I'm thinking Grant's probably going to tell to everyone. Because Taylor and Carter need to know about this. This is something that Taylor and Carter need to know about. And if he tells them, holy shit, things are going to get intense. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I mean, that's the thing this show knows how to do, is how to stir up the tension. And this episode really stirred up the pot for tension, definitely. Really looking forward to the next episode. Absolutely love this episode. And yeah, absolutely loved it. So let me know what you guys saw this episode. I, again, love this episode. And that's basically it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys saw this episode. What is going to happen with Carter and everything. What's going to happen there. But I'll see you guys in my next video, which is not going to be for my review of tonight's episode of Big Brother. Because honestly, guys, I'm going to make an announcement video about Big Brother. I'm not going to be reviewing Big Brother to you guys anymore. Okay, I'm going to be honest here, guys. I'm not reviewing Big Brother anymore. I'm not into the show anymore. I might review the entire season, but I'm not into the show as much anymore. So, my next review will actually be for the series finale of Wilfred. So, I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.